So we're going to start with the non-lucrative visa videos. I'm going to keep them short. We're going to keep short sound bites really of various parts of the application process instead of having like massively long videos which run you through the whole thing. I've seen plenty online which are really good, but by the end of it your head's pickled. So we're going to try and keep it to short videos, and also we're going to give you our interpretation of what they're asking for. And during the period that people are starting to apply from the UK, give you updates as well. Because as we know, with all immigration, they have their own nuances and interpretations of the rules. So everything we've seen published so far about non-lucrative visas, professionals and people in the industry, they're really taking their experience from other applications that have been made around the world. But we're still yet to see how the Spanish embassy in the UK, Spanish consulates in the UK, start applying their rules. But anyway, we're going to do the updates, as I said. First of all, I want to talk about healthcare. Now, the... excuse me. Got to get that fixed. Healthcare requirements, well, we've got two requirements, all right? And I've got some information here which is published by the Spanish embassy in Spain, and we've interpreted it, and we want to delve a little bit more into it for you. Okay, so the first requirement, we're going to talk about getting private healthcare. All right, so in Spain, for any residency application, you have to prove that you've got healthcare to cover yourself. Obviously, for a non-lucrative visa, you're not going to be doing anything lucrative in Spain, which means you're not going to be covered under any work situation by the Spanish Social Security system. All right, so you'll need a private healthcare application. All right, so private healthcare private healthcare policy, all right, has some very strict requirements. First of all, evidently, the policy has to be legal in Spain, and it has to cover you for everything that the Social Security would cover you for, and without excess. Okay, in Spanish they call that sin copagos. All right, they're very strict on it here with their residency applications, and I no doubt the embassy will be just as strict. So you can't. So for people with pre-existing conditions, this could be slightly tricky if they're speaking to healthcare providers and they want to come to Spain. There's always this tricky age group of 55 up till the state pensionable age, which I'm going to come on to that afterwards, and where people might start to have pre-existing conditions and stuff and can't get healthcare policies to cover their pre-existing conditions, but they don't qualify yet for the S1, which I'll come on to now. All right, so definitely it's a good idea. I've got here, we actually wrote an article, so I'm just going to go through this. The policy must have the same health cover as you would under the Social Security healthcare system. Must clearly name all the people who are covered, so evidently every applicant, if you've got children as well, will need to be covered in the policy. There must be no excess payable, known as sin copagos in Spanish. The policy must cover the full year, so the full year of your visa. Evidently, once you get your visa, if you go to renew for further 2 years, you'll need to be able to prove that you've got the policy. It's annually renewable, so when you come to renew it in 2 years, you won't have to prove you've got a policy for 2 years, but you will have to prove probably you've paid the following year, which goes on to my next point, which is when you do take your policy and proof of the policy to your appointment for your non-lucrative visa, you'll also need to take, it's a good idea to take full years paid up front, not monthly payments. We always advise all our clients, any residency application is always best to take the full year paid receipt you've paid for your year, and then you forget any problems you have if you're paying it monthly and they want to see more payments towards it. Your insurer must provide a certificate of insurance acceptable for immigration authorities as proof of cover. Yeah, so lately, the last 3 or 4 years, what's happened is the insurance providers have started to develop this way of coming up with this certificate. Now, this certificate, although you'll have a policy, you'll have the proof of payment, and the intricacies of the policy will all be there, they have a certificate, which is brilliant, it's great, that basically stipulates everything that the immigration authorities are going to want to see. All right, so some of the big providers, most of them now, will give you this one-page certificate, and they started to come around 4 years ago. We started to see these certificates. Before we'll go through pages and pages and pages and proving and blah blah, there'd be questions or whatever. Then bang, started giving out these certificates, and brilliant. Immigration seemed to like that, and I imagine that the Spanish embassy will like it as well, although they may ask it to be backed up with a policy. Definitely a healthcare certificate along with a year's payment, and jobs are given. Now, something we want to talk about is S1s. Obviously, the UK is still giving out S1s, but there has never been a situation where an EU country, has left the EU, and an S1 would have been provided for a non-lucrative visa application. And the simple question is, we don't know. It should, it's exportable. Definitely, it would have to be a permanent exportable S1 certificate for an application, but we have got a few which will be going through over the next couple of months where people have applied for S1s, they've got their S1s, it's a permanent export of your healthcare. The strangest thing is they'll only send the S1 abroad, so people who can't get abroad without their visas are having S1s sent to our office, and then we are sending it back to them for them to use at their appointment. Let's see how that works out. I'll be honest with you, I don't know, but I will let you know in a video. If they don't accept the S1, they'll have to have private healthcare as well for their application. And the next thing is a medical certificate stating that you have no exportable illnesses or diseases. All right. The medical certificate has to have been issued within the last 3 months before your appointment, and it will have to come with a legalized translation. So when I say legalized translation, in Spain we have certified translators which sign a document to say certified translators of the state, if you like. So they've been recognised that they can translate documents from the original language, in this case English, into Spanish and sign it off, so when someone reads it, an official reads it, they know what they're reading is exactly what's in English. So in fact, I have from our translators here, so we get these once a week, arrive on our desk from our translators. We have some, and this is what you'll get. You'll get something like this at the bottom of it. Hope you can see that, an official stamp. There's a little advertisement there for our translators. If you do need translators, let us know. We've got some brilliant translators here. They work completely remotely, and we'll send the documents to you via courier. All right, so a plug for them, brilliant. And so this certificate, first of all, it has to be done in the UK by a registered and qualified medical professional, and it has to be translated into Spanish, as I said, by a registered translator. The health certificate needs to state, and this is the information from the embassy website, it needs to state, this health certificate states that Mr/Mrs. does not suffer from any diseases that may have serious public health repercussions in accordance with what is stipulated by the International Health Regulations of 2005, which I haven't read, but I'm sure it's very complicated. All right, so you need to find a doctor or someone who can sign that certificate off for you, and then whoever's doing your non-lucrative visa application will find you a translator to translate it for you and send you the original. So that's the 2 healthcare requirements for non-lucrative visa application. As I say, we're going to update you on the S1 situation. Let's see what happens there. And in a few more videos during this month, we're going to start putting together snippets of elements of the application.